don't do what you love. How's that for a hook? Don't do what you love. I was told my entire life growing up, you know what? If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. That might be true, but here's the thing. This doesn't have to be advice that you take. It doesn't have to be advice that maybe you were told, but it is advice what I gave my kids. It's called work for a reason. It's work because it's work, and work sucks, right? But there are different levels of suckiness, right? But at the end of the day, what I told, do what pays you the most. And as long as it's bearable, then you can have the time to do what you love. But here's the real advice that I would give is this. Do what pays you the most, and that is bearable. And then do what you love on the side, and then turn that into a career. But the idea that we should just, and maybe that's for you, right? I'm a worker. I like to work. I probably will never retire just because I just don't see myself ever doing that. But I do want to do eventually something that brings me interest. And I'm not telling you outside of that hook to just, chase after money. Don't worry about internal help. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this. First and foremost, get the capital, get the gains that will help you to be able to eventually do the things that you love to do. I love to grow carnivorous plants. And so that is my ultimate goal, is to be able to do that full time. But as of right now, if I was to try to do that, I wouldn't be able to feed my family. So what I am doing is doing what I don't necessarily like. I don't hate it, but I don't necessarily like it. But it pays the bills and allows me to have that overage and capital to be able to do what I love and invest in that and eventually get there, right? I do believe strongly that hobbies are hobbies and work is work. Now, there is a way that you can combine them, but I don't think that's straight out of the gate. But I will tell you this. Money doesn't buy happiness, but money can buy the things that can bring happiness. And so I'm not saying you need to be married to money or money needs to be the most important thing in your life, because it doesn't. You need to have a healthy balance. But I will tell you that what doesn't bring happiness is constantly being scared, living paycheck to paycheck, constantly being scared of X, Y, and Z. And Jim Carrey said it best when he gave a speech. I think it was a commencement speech, doesn't matter. He said, you can fail at doing what you don't love, so you might as well try and fail at doing what you do love, or you might as well do what you love, right? Totally probably butchered that, but it made so much sense and it resonated, right? Most people don't really like their jobs. There's different levels of it, right? And you may end up loving your job. You may want to be the lucky few, and so this video doesn't apply to you. But for me personally, it's this. Find a job that you can tolerate and that you don't necessarily dislike, but that will pay you the most money. And then what you do is you sack that money away, and you don't wait. You start doing the things that you love, but it's more on a hobby level at first, and you're putting money into it and you're building that up. So then you eventually can do what you love. I don't know if that's good advice or not, but that's the advice that I give, and that's the advice that I am trying myself to live. Because at the end of the day, I really don't know what I want to do, except for something that I know that doesn't really pay a lot of money. But what I eventually want to do is do that carnivorous plant nursery and help people grow plants. But you just really can't do that straight out of college. You got to kind of work into that and build in that. But in the meantime, I'm going to be making the money, or try to make the money, to be able to go on vacation to these things. That doesn't mean I'm telling you to be miserable by any means. But I'll give you an example. My son doesn't necessarily like cybersecurity, AI, and stuff like that, but he's really good at it. And what I tell him is this: I want you to be happy, son. I want you to do those things. But what if you could do that for a little bit, make $300,000-$400,000 a year, and then in the meantime sock things away? He loves to travel, and you could start your own business from the things that you learn. Then you could create your own business. You could do your own schedule. You could be able to have money to go and travel and do those things, and that's what brings the enjoyment and the love. You look at all the people, not everybody, right? There's a lot of successful people that have done things that they love to do, but most of them had that just basic job, that cash cow that helped them get through, whether it was a little cash cow or a big one, cash calf maybe, to help them get through, and then they eventually will end up doing the things that they love. That's what I'm saying. I hope this has helped and hope it hasn't been meandering. And I'm not telling you to be miserable. I'm telling you to follow your dreams, chase after your dreams, but think about it in a big picture, big perspective. Think about how you can finance those dreams, right? And sometimes the travel, you have to slog through the mud in order to get to your dreams. And whatever that mud is, just make sure that's a high-paying mud. I hope this helps. See you soon.